The last time the NOVAR Verizon Cup Series hit the track, Shane Harden took the victory at Texas Motor Speedway after leading nearly half of the race. This week we head to the championship race at Columbia Speedway, where 4 drivers remain for the championship hunt. Not only that, this is not the only championship race that is there, but is the main one. The owner's points is also in the same book likewise as the driver's championship. In the driver's championship, 4 drivers remain, as Chadler Blake is the points leader. He has a 17-point lead over Cody White, car number 22. And then Piper is 21 points back from the points leader. And then Shane Nargan is the only other remaining car in the race, as he is 23 points back. Other championships, Justin Klingston and CJ Gordon are battling it out for Rookie of the Year, while Greg Woodard and Garrett Bluntford will battle it out for the South Carolina Part-Timers Challenge. However, due to the fact that the qualifying procedures, which we'll mention a little later, has kind of already decided, it will give you the champion at the conclusion of this broadcast. The qualifying format for this weekend was quite different. Unlike most NOVAR races, which there would be simply just one qualifying race or 2 or dual qualifying races in some venues, it had to be set up at a unique qualifying venue, as 127 total entries were in the entry list, as qualifying was done in a set of 4 rounds. The first run was the pre-qualifiers, which saw the 3 fastest cars in that group in the overall time trials to advance to the main race. Those 3 were Brandon Green, Carter Pavis, and Shane Howard, who had the fastest time. The first round was the only sole elimination round, which ended up taking out many cars. It actually takes 60 cars out of the race, as the remaining 15 per event, as they were separated into 4 groups. The remaining 15 are put into the second round, which is also a 30-car field. However, unlike the first round, if you do not make it through to the main race in the second round, you advance to the LCQ. And then the LCQ is basically a qualifying race, as the top 15 advance to their main way in. And now we'll take a look at the South Carolina Part-Timers Challenge standings. The drivers that will be racing for the championship in the South Carolina Part-Timers Challenge was revealed during the Camden weekend. And now for a refresh of the standings, this is what they look like. Garrett Bluntford in car number 08 is the leader. He leads only by 3 due to his bad performance at Camden. Unfortunately, he did not make it through the first round of the qualifying, whereas his points rival Greg Woodard in car number 41 made it to the LCQ but failed to qualify. However, Woodard was not the only one that did. Tobias Newbridge in the 96 was in 4th. He had the highest finish in the LCQ, so as a result, Newbridge actually wins the challenge for that event, as everybody else did not make it through to the LCQ, to the main race, as most of them were eliminated in the first round, as Newbridge and Woodard were the only 2 that actually made it to the LCQ and into the second round. And now for the rest of the standings, Dorn Donovan in car number 37, 3rd in the points. Ethan Littinger, 5th. Johnny Gardner in 6th. And then the 4 cars were eliminated at Camden. That is being Pike Patton, John Casnier, Keith Jeske, all tied up at 18. And then Mike Harper in car number 17 has 11 points. And now, let's take a look at the starting grid for the Verizon Championship Weekend 400. 127 cars entered this race, but only 42 will be running this 267-lap race. Starting in 42nd is your points leader, Chadler Blake, in car 15, who had a poor qualifying run, while your 44th first place starter is Marcus Powell in car number 74. In starting 40th is car number 25, Scott Howard, the Grand Detour winner. And starting 39th is CJ Gordon in car number 38, who will be battling for Rookie of the Year. Starting 38th is Casey Lester in car number 12 in the Miller Lite Dodge Charger. And starting 37th is Cameron Brooks in the 33. Starting in the 36th spot is Kyrie Youth in car number 57, the only driver that did not win in the first round or in the qualifying session. And Stephanie Naylor in car number 1 starts 35th for Gardner Corporation. Starting 34th is Brandon Green in car number 30 for Piper Incorporation, while his teammate is running for the championship. That is Todd Piper in car number 26. Starting 32nd is Brian Dawson in car number 64, who's had a miserable year in that 64 car. And James McRowe, the Gatorade Series driver, and the DM developmental driver. Eddie Johnson, car number 55, is starting in the 30th spot, while Tony Wider in car number 35 starts 29th. Starting in 28th is car number 98 of Shane Clark III, who is your 2011 champion, and currently leading the way in the Rookie of the Year standings is Justin Klingston in car number 24. Starting 26th is Chris Green in car number 40, the younger brother of Walter Green, and starting 25th is Carter Pavis in car number 4. Starting 24th is Corey Von Dulgan in car number 23. And starting in the 23rd spot is Jay Honore in car number 01. Starting in 22nd is Shane Harden in the 59, who has been very fast throughout the weekend. However, had a bad qualifying effort, while Damon Scott in car number 18 starts in the 21st spot. Starting 20th is Luke Warren in car number 14 in the Dickies Toyota for Chin Racing. And starting 19th is Walter Youthen in car number 8. Starting in the 18th spot is Austin Warwick in car number 3 for Tyson Bell Racing. And Carson Brooks in car number 75 starts in the 17th spot. Starting 16th is Jason Duke in car number 66, eBay Ford for Fusion Racing. And starting 15th is Logan Chin in car number 72. Starting in the 14th spot is Roger Cooper III in car number 70, who drove the 01 at California. And starting in 13th is Cody Wyke in the 22 for Silver Green Racing. Starting in the 12th spot is Keith Hales in car number 27 for Piper Corporation. And starting in 11th is the number 20 of Mark Mongillo. Starting in 10th is Scott Harper in the 6 car. And starting in 9th is the number 32 of Shane Nargan, the highest of the championship drivers to highest starting position by a championship driver. Jamie Scotty in car number 9 starts in the 8th in the Red Bull Toyota. And David Payton, your defending champion, starts in 7th in car number 44. Starting 6th is Shane Howard in car number 03, the fastest driver that advanced through the pre-qualifiers. And Scott Johnson, car number 58, starts 5th. Chris Carter, car number 56, is undefeated so far this weekend. He wants to keep that streak up, starting in 4th. Chris Bell, car number 38, starts in the 3rd spot. And now for your front rows, Shane Bliss in car number 42 starts in 2nd. And winning the Aflac pole award in only his 2nd career start is Brad Curtis in car number 60. So Brad Curtis in car number 60 leads the field down to the green flag, with Shane Bliss in car number 42 on his outside. Chris Bell in the 38 right there behind. As Chris Carter in the 56 looks like the 60 of Curtis is able to get away right at the start. However, doesn't do it that easily. Chris Bell in the 38 already going to make a challenge on that 42. And Chris Bell in the 38 is already going to make a run on that 60 car. As Brad Curtis, who won, I believe, the second group of the second round. Actually, it was the first group of the second round. That actually got him his way in. And here is Scott Johnson, car number 58. Johnson, the 58, will get by his teammate. That is for the 2nd spot, so Scott Johnson will get 2nd, while Chris Bell in car number 38 leads the 1st lap here of this 267-lap race. We have an incident in the back. Scott Youthen gets in the back. Casey Lesh starts up the track, gets in, and Chandler Blake, the points leader. So Chandler Blake, who started last, is now having a bad day, and there he has a little bit of damage on that 15. However, Blake would have a chance to repair it because we would have our first yellow on lap 4. Jamie Scotty in the 9 gets in the back of Carter Pavis. That sends the 4 around. Jason Duke at the 66 is collected. Scott Howard in the 25 is also collected as well. But the 4 car will continue on going. On the restart, car number 3 of Austin Warwick led on the restart with Luke Warren on the inside. Actually, Carter Youthen on the inside. Carson Brooks in the 75 is in 2nd. The 18, David Scott, is in 3rd. With the 38 Bell. Bell gets stuck up behind the 57 of Youthen. Youthen actually had a pit because of that wreck. That happened on the first lap. As looks like the 3 of Warwick, the 75 of Brooks, and the 18 of David Scott is also in there. And car 44 of David Payton, your defending champion, who qualified his way into the 3s and actually finished 7th in last year's event. Our second caution coming on lap 11. Keith Hales gets in the back of Scott into Shane Howard. That's in Corey Von Duggan, Mark Mongillo around. Brad Curtis almost gets a piece of it, but doesn't get any damage. No major damage done to any 4 cars, to those 4 cars that were involved in that wreck. As on the restart, we would have car number 44 of David Payton leading the way. As just like what happened on the last restart, the 57 of Carter Youthen was on the inside. David Scott, car number 18, is in 2nd. The 01 of Jay Honore is in 3rd. As looks like the 18 of Damon Scott is now trying to go for the lead. And looks like the 18 will, so car number 18 of David Scott to the race is trying to get to the racing under the 44 David Payton. Payton tries to shut the door, but he thinks better of it, as if he actually did, he would have probably turned himself in front of the entire field. David Scott, car number 18, will be able to get by the 44. Jan Honore in the 01 will do likewise. And your 2nd and your 3rd place man in points, Todd Piper, running in the 3rd spot. In car number 26, Piper is now going to try to go to the bottom of Honore, but Honore is going to go to the bottom of the 18 of David Scott. And the 26 of Piper, he's going to try to elect to go which lane he's trying to go. Piper in the 26, he's going to go to the bottom. Piper's going to try to make it 3 wide, but the pole doesn't open up enough. Now he's going to have a chance, but doesn't go on. Since car number 26 of Todd Piper, he now sits in the 2nd spot for car number 26. David Payton in car number 44 is now going to try to spool the party. As there you see Shane Nargan in car number 32. He's actually going to get by Damon Scott for the 5th spot. There's now car number 32. Now Nargan's now going to go under Piper, and that's going to put Nargan in the 4th spot now for car number 32. As there you see The 44, David Payton, is going to retake the lead away. There you see Scott Harper in the 6. Here's Cody White, car number 10, car number 22. He's running in the 10th spot right now as he's battling with Logan Chin and Mark Mongillo in car number 20. He gets by both of them. And then Chadwick Blake, despite getting the damage repair, he's still running in 32nd. So Blake will need a little bit of help in order for him to at least have a shot at winning the title, although everybody kind of expected that bad qualifying run and that wreck that he got swept up into. Didn't really seem intentional by Casey Licious' part, as he actually was just dumped into the mess as Ethan was turned into by Brandon Green. But meanwhile, back up front, Scott Johnson, car number 58, will go and retake the lead away from the 44 of David Payton. Car number 59 of Shane Harden right there. Harden has actually been quite a strong car throughout the entire weekend, as Harden, who, unlike his teammate Chris Clark, Harden's not been undefeated, but he's been one of the fastest cars on the track, and Harden started 22nd on the grid, and now he has clawed his way up to the front. Chris Bell in car number 38 fell back a little bit on that restart, but now has clawed his way back up to the front. And now Chris Bell in car number 38 is going to take the second spot away from the 58 of Scott Johnson. So now the 59 of Shane Harden is pulling away. Mobile One Racing has practically been very strong throughout the weekend, and in each of the qualifying races that Mobile One has entered, they've been basically undefeated except for the third group in round 1, which saw Jason Duke take the victory in that one, as the highest finishing Mobile One driver in that race was Kyle Eugen, who ended up finishing second, as they were undefeated throughout the second round, and they didn't have any cars in the LCQ, so basically they didn't win that one, basically because of that reason. But Chris Bell in car number 38 would be able to retake the lead away from the 59, but Harden in the 59 will show how strong that 59 really is, and that Mobile One power over that Ease Racing equipment, as car number 59 of Shane Harden just drives right on by. David Payton, car number 44, will also do likewise. Our first round of green flag stops will happen between laps 70 and 76. There you see Shane Harden, car number 59. David Payton trying to challenge his way into the pits, as there you see the 25 of Scott Howard has been. And is that Todd Piper, one of the championship contenders, having trouble? As here's what happened. Piper actually pitted a lap earlier, as he pits this time by. I'm not sure what happened to that 26 car, as looks like it's clean now for that 26 car, as the 26 so far so good, as they get the left side tires that Piper's going to go for 4 tires, and something broke on the car. I'm not sure what it is, but unfortunately, as a result, Todd Piper, car number 26, will fall several laps down due to the result of this. However, to make his matters worse, the 32 and the 22 would actually get good stops and get away. Here's Norgan's stop, as he will take 4 tires, just like what happened to Piper. Piper, I believe, just got away after Harden and Payton entered, and there you see the 32 and Nargan gets out cleanly. Here's Cody White's exit, as White took 4 tires as well, as the 22 also leaves the pits. So here's how everything cycled out. David Payton, car number 44, would re-inherit the lead, as there you see Todd Piper in the 26. Todd Piper would fall 41st. He would be 3 laps down in the number 26 National Guard Ford Fusion. So Piper, unless if a miracle can happen, he's basically knocked himself out of championship contention. As the 44 David Payton, he has a decent sized gap over Shane Harden in the 59. As here's Harden. Harden would actually run down the 44. And there you see the 8 of Walter Houston, and I believe that's the 38 of Chris Bell. He's also in there. Yes, that's Chris Bell, and the 38 is also up there. As there you see Chadwick Blake in the 15. He's about to go another lap down. I believe he's already 1 lap down. And he's about to go 2 laps down with this group, as there you see Harden in the 59 is going to take the lead away from the 44. There you see the 8 of Walter Houston going by the 44, and Chris Bell also doing likewise. As looks like Harden in the 59 is starting to pull away once again. However, Walter Houston and Chris Bell are going to battle for second. David Payton in the 44 also trying to get into the mix as well, as we have so far a clean race, even though we had 2 early cautions, as Harden is about to lap the 15 of Blake. But Chris Bell in the 38, Chris Bell in the 38 will run down the 59, and the 38 will get by the 59 of Shane Harden for the lead once again, as the 38 will get by the 59. David Payton in the 44 will about to make a challenge. Looks like the 44 will make a challenge, as despite Harden falling back here, the 59 of Shane Harden will come back with the lead again, as here comes the 59 of Shane Harden. Harden to the inside of the 38, as we're about to have another new leader, and that's being the 59 of Shane Harden. So Harden in the 59 nips the 38 across the line, as Here's the 59 of Harden. Harden tries to get there, but looks like he will get the lead this time by, as car number 59 of Shane Harden to the lead once again. Car 44, David Payton is going to go for second spot. However, one car, there you see the 59 and the 38 once again battling it out. However, another car that jumped in the mix is that 56 of Chris Clark. Chris Clark has been undefeated so far this weekend, winning the fourth group of the first round and winning his second group in the second round of the qualifying. So Chris Clark is the only Mobile One Racing driver that's actually undefeated so far, as Kyle Euthan is the only one not to have a victory, as Eddie Johns had one, I believe, in the first round. Scott Johnson had one in the first round. Harden, I believe, also had one in the first round. Brad Curtis had his victory in the second round, while Chris Clark's won in the first and second rounds. As Chris Clark in the 56, as you saw there, he got by the 59 of Shane Harden, and now the 56 of Clark is now trying to run down the 38 car of Chris Bell, as the 56 is starting to close in on that 38, and eventually the 56 would get to the 38 of Chris Bell, thanks to lap traffic of Cameron Brooks and Brian Curtis, which I'm not sure if lap traffic was kind of part of the factors. The Bell went to the, as Chris Bell electively went to the high side. As there you see Curtis in the 60 goes to the bottom. That's good. That sends Chris Clark, car number 56, to the lead. So Chris Clark is trying to go is trying to be undefeated throughout the entire weekend. But he has a hard charging car number 59 of Shane Harden also there as well. However, Harden at 59, this actually starts the second round of green flag stop, which happened on lap number 134. As looks like Harden's going to take the pits here. Actually, this would start the cycle off at about lap 144, as there you see Harden entering the pits. Once stop cycle through, car number 59 of Shane Harden. Once again in the lead there, you see Walter Euthan in second, and David Payton in 44 is in third. As we're going to be heading out of the turn for a championship update. Here's car number 32 of Shane Nargan. Nargan's running in the 6th spot. Chris Bell in 38 is the driver he's currently chasing after. As this actually, the battle is for the 5th spot, as Bell's trying to hang on to that spot. Here's Cody White for number 16 and the number 22 running in the 16th spot, as White is kind of neutral right here. White's not really gaining any ground so far up to this point in this race. As here is our next question. This actually be quite interesting. Casey Hilster in 12th just electively dumps the 98 of Shane Clark third. Doesn't really back out, and this brings on our next caution, lap 189. The 98 goes into the wall as he slides down the track. He gets a second place car, Chris Clark. Keith Hales is collected. Luke Warren, Carson Brooks is also in there. And there you see the drivers scattering around. Chadwick Blake in the 15 made it through. Here's a driver that didn't make it through. That's Chris Clark. Justin McGrow in the 07 is collected. Scott Howard in the 25 is there. There you see, I think Chris Green in the 40 also got a piece of that. As there you see the 32 of Nargan. If you saw a little closely, the 32 did make it through that wreck. Scott Johnson in the 58 just runs right into the back of Chris Clark in the 56. Logan Chin in the 72 runs into the back of the 75 and spins himself around. We would have a restart in lap 193. Shane Harden in the 59, leading the way. Walter Youth in second, and Chris Bell in 38 in third. As looks like there are a couple of cars ahead of Harden that are off the lead lap. That's the 18, the 9, 01, and the 42. That is Damon Scott, Jamie Scott, Jalen Norrie, and Shane Bliss. As Harden is already has a gap on the 8 of Walter Youth, and now Walter Youth is put in a 3-wide situation, as that's going to open the door for car number 38 of Chris Bell. As Bell's going to try to make it 3-wide under the 8 car and right in between of the 1 of Stephanie Naylor. Here is the 32 of Shane Nargan. Right at this point, Nargan is running in the 3rd spot, and Cody White in the 22 is running in 9th. Nargan is going to try to get by White, and then Howard is also going to try to get there. White's going to get in the back of Howard. The 32 of Nargan slides down the track, but saves the car. So what could potentially have been a championship-changing move, however, Nargan makes a great save on the 32 car, and is actually going to run down the 22 again, as Nargan's actually going to, that might have helped Nargan, even though he lost a little bit of ground there. The 32 of Nargan pushes White up the racetrack, as there you see the 25 of Scott Howard he actually would drop out of the race due to damage on his suspension because of that contact, which didn't really seem like significant at all. Meanwhile, back up front, car number 59 of Shane Harden has essentially been the strongest car throughout the race. As I said before, Mobile One Racing has basically been undefeated throughout the weekend. Not only that, Mobile One Racing, they have also won the past 3 races here. Scott Johnson won at Montsport, Eddie Johnson nipped Shane Bliss at Talladega, and Hardin actually won last race at Texas. We would have our final round of green flag stops happen on lap 238 as here's Hardin pitting again as Hardin would make his stop for the final time. No cars would interrupt him. However, he would lose the lead again to car number 44, David Payton. However, unlike the first time he did it, the lead was a little bit closer than it was at the last cycle. The 44 Payton would actually try to hold on to the lead. However, that strength of the 59 has been just really good, to the point that car number 59 of Shane Hardin would run down the 44 of David Payton, as Shane Hardin in the 59 will go and make a challenge for the lead. And coming to about 14 to go, car number 59 of Shane Hardin to the race lead, onto the 44 David Payton, and Shane Hardin is once again back in the lead. However, everybody thought the battle for the lead was going to be quite interesting. However, the championship battle turned out to be quite interesting. Here's Cody White in car number 22. He's going to go under the 42. This is actually for the 10th spot, as White's going to get under there, and then James McGraw in the 07. The car you see there, that's actually for 9th, and Cody White would get under the 07, as Cody White in the 22 has now pushed his way into the lead, into the points lead. And at this rate, White would win the championship by at least 2 points. So this put Nargan in a move, as he has really nothing to lose, but he has a lot to gain, as that 8 car of Walter Youthen is right now running in the 2nd spot. Is actually right now running in the 4th spot. Nargan running in 5th. As they see, he's got not only to run down the 8, he's also got to hold off that 26 of Todd Piper. Even though Piper is several laps down, Piper could pretty much still make an impact on the championship. As there you see the 8 of Youthen. Youthen's going to try to get under the 66 of Duke. At the same time, Piper's going to try to get under the 32 of Nargan. So looks like maybe Shane Nargan is struggling a little bit. However, Nargan will get a little bit of luck, as Shane Bliss would get by James McGraw, and Shane Bliss in the 42 would get by Cody White in the 22 for the 9th spot. So that put Bliss in 9th, while this puts Cody White in the 10th spot. As now, the 59 of Shane Hardin is basically been one of the strongest cars of this race. He has pulled away to about a 4-second gap over David Payton, and we're going to be taking the white flag this time. The final lap is out for the season, as Hardin has a 4-second gap. He's going to appear to be only the first time since 2008, where Michael Scott had won 3 consecutive races to end the season. Hardin's going to look like to end the season with 2 consecutive victories, and Mobile One Racing is going to close the season out with 4 straight victories. I'm not sure how that record's going to be, but out of turn number 4, car number 59 of Shane Hardin is going to win here at Columbia. The 2nd time in his career that Hardin takes the victory here at Columbia. However, we have a very interesting championship battle to watch. Here is Shane Hardin, car number 32. He's got only 2 laps to catch the 8 of Walter Youthen, and that could potentially maybe be a championship-changing move. There you see the 8 of Youthen is having problems with that 3 car of Austin Warwick. Nargan has closed the gap on that 8 car. Looks like the Youthen has cleared. Nargan's going to go to the bottom. Here comes Nargan at the 32 for the 4th spot. As the 8 of Youthen and Nargan. Youthen's going to try to go high. Does usually get the run. Youthen's trying to. But Nargan at the 32. He clears the 8. As now, car number 32 of Shane Nargan. Nargan, he is appearing to pull away from that group. And it doesn't appear that Cody White can catch Shane Bliss. And into turn number 3 and out of turn number 4, it appears that Cody White will finish in 10th. Shane Nargan, car number 2, will finish in the 4th spot. But will that be enough for Nargan to win the championship? So Shane Hardin ends the season with a victory. He led a race high 163 of 267 laps. As Hardin is, I believe, the first driver since Michael Scott in 2008 to end a season with consecutive victories. Hardin, in this case, winning 2 straight to end the season. And Hardin is also the first driver since Chad LeBlanc in 2010 to have consecutive victories. And Hardin is also the first driver since Michael Scott in 2009 to have 4 victories in a season. David Payton in car number 44 finished in 2nd. He led 46 laps. 3rd was Chris Bell in car number 38. Finished where he started and led 44 laps along the way. Shane Nargan made that critical pass on Walter Youthen and was able to hang on for that 4th spot. Walter Youthen in 8 falls back to 5th. Youthen is the last car on the lead lap. Damon Scott in the 18 finishes 6th. He is 1 lap down. Jamie Scott in car number 9 is in 7th. 8th is Logan Chin in car number 72. 9th is Shane Bliss in car number 42. He got by Cody White and actually ran off. So I'm not sure if that White actually has enough to win the title. And rounding out the top 10 is Cody White in car number 22. He finishes 10th. After 20 grueling races on the NOVAR calendar, which saw 70 drivers have a chance to take the title, it has now come down to this. The moment that everybody has been waiting for since the season began. Your 2014 NOVAR Verizon Cup Series champion by virtue of a tiebreaker is... Shane Nargan in car number 32 for Silver Green Racing. So for Shane Nargan, it is his first title of his career. It is Silver Green Racing's 3rd Drivers' Championship. Their first one since Mark Mongillo in 2009. Dodge wins their 2nd Drivers' title. Their last one was with Brian Kittleson in the 2010 season. Nargan nipped Cody White by a tiebreaker, which that came on wins, as Nargan had 2 at Casey and Indianapolis, where White did not have any. So, and now for the statistics, it is the first time since 1987 that the championship leader going into this weekend did not win the championship, and it's only the 3rd time overall. The only other time other than 1987 was 1982. And with the tie, it is the closest margin of victory in NOVAR history, surpassing the 8-point margin of victory that was in 1998. And now for the other champions that are also notable there. The Silver Green Racing number 22 team, they were ahead of the 32 team in the owners' points, as the tiebreakers are only applied for the Drivers' Championship, as even with that, Silver Green Racing, they'll still be walking away with both a Drivers' and Owners' Championship. And actually the 32 and the 22, they'll actually be owning the split championship, since technically the 32 and 22 are actually teammates. But officially in the record book, it will go down as Cody White's number 22 team. Ford takes the manufacturer's title. They took it by a pretty good margin over Chevrolet. First time I believe that Chevrolet has failed to win one since, I believe, back in 2001. And Justin Klingston in the 24 for DM Racing. He wins Rookie of the Year. He won it by a fair margin over C.J. Gordon. And your South Carolina Part-Timers Challenge winner will be Greg Woodard in car number 41. So now, let's take a look at the final point standings leaving Columbia. Now let's take a look at the top 20 in points. These we're going to be narrowing down to the top 20. Shane Nargan and Cody White tie up in the point standings, but Nargan takes the championship by virtue of that 2 wins that he got. His first coming at the 2nd duel at Casey, and then his 2nd one coming at Indianapolis. Cody White in car number 22, he falls just 2 wins short of a championship, so that's got to be a heartbreaker. Cody White, who almost literally drove his way to a championship and kind of shocked everybody. Had Cody White won it, it would have probably been maybe a shocker, as White had virtually been quiet throughout the entire season and then surged late and almost basically took the title by surprise. Chad LeBlanc in car number 15. It is the first time in his career that Chad LeBlanc entered the race as the points leader, entered the final race as the points leader, and then has failed to win the championship. As going into this weekend, Chad LeBlanc, when leading the points in the final race of the season, he has basically been unbeaten for the championship, but it looks like that record is now hampered. Todd Piper in car number 26, he is 25 points back. He finishes with 520 points. Jason Duke in car number 66 finishes with 509 points. He rounds out the top 5. Scott Johnson in car number 58 finishes 6th in the points. Shane Hart in car number 59, he finished with 4 wins, the most wins out of anybody, and actually led the most laps out of the entire season due to his dominant performance in Columbia. He led 457 laps, whereas basically your lap leader for pretty much most of the season, Shane Nargan, only led 339 laps. Keith Hales at car number 27, he is in 8th in the points. Logan Chin in car number 72 with his best career finish in the championship with a 9th place finish. Jaden Honori in car number 01 finishes the championship in 10th. Now for the rest of the top 10, as we're going to let the top go through. As Damon Scott in car number 18, as he gained 5 spots to barely. He actually missed the top 10 by virtue of 3 points. Casey Lester, who fell 2 spots and fell out of the top 10. So Casey Lester, going into, I believe, the Camden weekend, actually had a very good chance at possibly taking the title, actually, when he had a string of good finishes, but a string of bad luck basically tore his championship hopes away. Tony Wider in car number 35 is 13th in points. He finished with 442 points back. Jamie Scott in car number 9, very good season for car number 9, 441 points. He finished 14th in points. Your Rookie of the Year winner, Justin Klinkson, in the 24 finishes 15th in points. 16th is Brandon Green in car number 30, who we thought early in the season was going to be potentially a favorite, but somehow fell out of nowhere. Actually fell apart pretty much in the mid portion of the season. Casey Uto in the 19. I believe he failed to qualify for this race in the number 19. That Shankel third fell 6 spots due to I believe his wreck earlier in the race. Mark Mongillo in car number 20 finishes in the 19th spot in the point standings, and CJ Gordon in car number 48 rounds out the top 20. And now let's take your look at your final South Carolina Part-Timers Challenge standings. Greg Woodard in car number 41 leads in the standings by 40. He actually had 42 total points. Garrett Bluntford had 37. That's about a 5-point margin of victory. Tobias Newbridge, who won the challenge here this week, he gets 35 points total for his final, as Newbridge will be going to full-time in the Verizon Cup Series in car number 96. Jordan Donovan in car number 37. We have no word on what he's doing next year in the South Carolina Part-Timers Challenge. 5th is Ethan Littinger, who will also be going full-time in the full-time in the NOVAR Verizon Cup Series. John Casnier, car number 85, finishes 6th. He has 26 points. Keith Jesse and Johnny Gardner tied up for the 7th spot. Keith Jesse gets the tiebreaker due to higher finish in the challenge, as Jesse, I believe, finished higher in the challenge. I believe they were in the same round, if I'm not mistaken. When they actually in the same group in the first round, if I'm not mistaken. 34, Pike Patton finishes with 22 points, and the only driver not cracking the 20-point break is Mike Harper in car number 17. That is all we have here for the 2014 NOVAR Verizon Cup Series. Make sure you tune into the NOVAR forum for full silly season updates regarding the 2015 season. This is Kendall Johnson, and I'm signing out here from GRN. And make sure you stick around for the 2015 season opener at Dentsville Super Speedway for the Dentsville 250.